shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
It's a much colder start this morning, but winter weather on the eyes of many for Wednesday. We'll show you which parts of the area see more snow and which parts see more ice coming up.
And preparing those roads, the work DOT crews will be doing today to make sure you are safe during that winter weather.
Reunited after a year, Keith Siegel's sister speaks out for the first time since he was released by Hamas.
Just tears of joy when his children got to hug him.
Oh yeah, hear her describe the emotional reunion as today marks 500 days now since the October 7th attack by Hamas. We welcome you inside our WRL studio here on Monday morning, 4:30 the time. It's President's Day, so a lot of folks may be off. If you're not, just put that head back down. it's Monday. I'm Jeff Hogan. Good to have you with us.
And I'm Michelle McGonigal in for Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us today on your Monday morning. A lot to talk about. We're just talking about the winter weather that we have coming up. Meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center tracking what we could see.
Yeah, everybody's talking about it, right? So this is a Wednesday kind of thing. So we still have about 54 hours before it even starts. But this is mainly a late morning into the evening kind of thing for Wednesday. Roughly about a 9 to 12-hour event. The trends point toward the most snow being north of I-40, and then the farther south you go, the more of a wintry mix you see. Regardless, impact to travel likely Wednesday and Thursday. Power outages on a to-be-determined basis, just really if you see a quarter of an inch of ice or more, that's where we see that potential. And right now I'm zeroing in on areas like Johnston, Wayne, and Wilson counties for that. This orange right there, that's the moderate impacts, especially where I think we see a couple inches of snow or more, and that again is going to be near and to the north of I-40. Our first call snow and ice map is going to come out either midday or early afternoon today. As far as right now, wind chills are in the 20s and 30s, a big difference from this time yesterday morning. Wind chills will stay in the 30s up until midday. It'll feel like the 40s with sunshine though as we head into the afternoon.
All right, thank you, Chris. And DOT crews will be out on the roads this morning ahead of that potential winter weather. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from DOT Maintenance Yard. And Laura, they will be laying down the brine today.
Michelle, good morning. These DOT trucks will be rolling out the yard once again later this morning, preparing for yet another winter system. Yes, another one. We were actually on the roads last night traveling on I-40 near Durham, and that's when we spotted several DOT trucks brining the roads late last night, preparing for the potential of any lingering snow and ice. According to our meteorologists, our chances of seeing a wintry mix and even snow in some spots are growing. So this will have an impact on travel, especially Wednesday and Thursday. The brine will help crews clear the roads more effectively. And as we continue to watch where this system is headed and who will see the greatest impact, the NCDOT, they tell us that they're going to have those trucks out on the roads between I-40 in Durham and Wake counties today and tomorrow. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Weather in other parts of the country is affecting flights at RDU, where we give you this live look here this morning at Terminal 2. Right now, we are seeing 14 delays, 7 cancellations. Be sure to check with your airline before you head out to the airport this morning.
And people will be cleaning up storm damage today. Powerful winds brought down trees and on roads and power lines. More than 50,000 customers lost power for part of the day yesterday. Wind gusts reached speeds of around 60 miles per hour in Raleigh and in Fayetteville.
At least 9 people have died after storms hit Kentucky. Officials warn the death toll is likely to rise as rescue crews search for people who may still be trapped by floodwaters. A teenage driver who got stuck in floodwater in Louisville could not see how deep that water was in the dark as he drove Saturday night. He says he's glad he was able to make it out of that situation.
I'm glad I got stuck and nothing severe happened to me because I do not want to end up dead. I'm glad I got stuck and I made it out with my cousin.
Officials are urging drivers to stay off the roads, and President Donald Trump has approved Kentucky's emergency declaration and authorized the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA to coordinate all disaster relief efforts.
And cleanup is happening in the nation's capital this morning as well. They're recovering from that same high windstorm that we saw hit our area. Those strong gusts brought down trees, damaging property and knocking out power lines. The area is now preparing for snow to move in later on this week. And you can get the latest weather updates from our team of experienced meteorologists in the WRAL News app. It's free to download, and when you sign up for push notifications, we can send you the most up-to-date information right to your phone.
Tired of the cold, parents? Starting today, you can sign your child up for one of Raleigh's summer camps. How about that for a thought? WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us from Optimist Park in Raleigh. Registration opens at 6:30 this morning. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, Jeff, good morning. Parents can sign their students up in the next few hours for summer camp. Optimist Park here is just one of the places where you can send your student this summer. Now, the city of Raleigh is doing staggered registrations again this year. Camps have a designated day for signups today through Wednesday. Registration is first come, first served. Today, more than a dozen camps will open their registration, including Briar Creek, Durant, and Walnut Creek parks. Now, that registration opens this morning at 6:30. If you want a full list of all of those designated registration days, just go to our website, WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And teachers in Wake County schools will get a digital panic button today, so it'll be ready to use when students return to school tomorrow. The RAVE app launches today. It allows staff to signal an emergency with the press of a button on their phone. Staff members are not required to download the app. Even if they don't, they can still get notifications. Today is a teacher workday for Wake County Public Schools.
And today's also President's Day, so that may affect your routine in some ways. Most major banks are closed today, as well as federal and state government offices. There'll be no trading on Wall Street and no mail delivered from the United States Postal Service.
The Trump administration has started firing hundreds of Federal Aviation Administration probationary employees. Those employees maintain critical air traffic control infrastructure. That's according to their union. Now, we don't know the exact number of people fired, but officials say several hundred workers started getting notices on Friday. This comes less than 3 weeks since that deadly mid-air collision over Washington, D.C. that killed 67 people. The crash highlighted shortages of air traffic controllers and FAA infrastructure issues.
Apex Mayor Jacques Gilbert plans to talk with the town manager today to ensure the town is providing proactive communication about utility bills. Gilbert says he has heard from a lot of people in Apex about unusually high utility bills the past few days. This comes as the third-party review team looks into the town's billing systems after a cyber attack in July. Some residents received double bills after that attack. The independent analysis is expected to be completed sometime in March.
Durham Mayor Leonardo Williams will present his second State of the City address tomorrow. Williams says he'll outline his key objectives and priorities for the city this year. The address begins at 7 p.m. in the Carolina Theater. The event is free and it's open to the public. You can also watch it on the city's YouTube channel beginning at 7.
Family members of Israeli hostages being held in Gaza gathered in Tel Aviv today to mark 500 days since the October 7th attack. Relatives came together outside the American embassy to call on President Donald Trump to help assure the release of all the hostages as soon as possible. Family members of hostages who were murdered by Hamas spoke during the event. Hamas released 3 hostages Saturday. The first phase of the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas ends in 2 weeks.
And this morning, we are hearing from the sister of Keith Siegel, the Chapel Hill man released by Hamas just weeks ago. Siegel's sister, Lucy Siegel, lives in Durham, and she tells us that her brother spent more than 480 days as a hostage in Gaza. And during that time, she says Keith was able to push through the fear, the pain, and the uncertainty by thinking about the loved ones he hoped to see again.
He said he would start with our mother, and he'd have a conversation. So primarily these conversations were to himself in his head. Each day, throughout the day, that he would repeat to himself the day of the week, the month, the day of the month, and the year, over and over and over.
Keith and his wife Aviva are now living on the kibbutz in Israel, where Aviva moved following her release. Lucy says Keith hopes to return to North Carolina for a visit at some point.
20 minutes before 5 right now on your Monday. Protecting poultry, the vaccine for chickens that scientists hope will drive down bird flu cases.
And it was a marathon race at the Daytona 500 the moment driver William Byron won his second consecutive trophy.
And we'll give you this live look at Apex now this morning, straight down Salem Street there. Colder air has moved in, and the next winter storm is a little over 48 hours away, where we will see snow versus an icy mix.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
4:43, happy Monday to you. Starting out with a live look at our tower camera outside the studios. Lit in blue, nice crystal clear sky overhead. It is much colder in the Sandhills right now than it was yesterday morning, about 25 to 30 degrees colder. At this point yesterday, we were in the 60s across Fayetteville and Clinton. That is not going to happen this time around. Your President's Day starting out, temperatures near freezing, slightly lower wind chills this morning. Midday temps in the low 40s, high temperatures today in the upper 40s. But of course, all eyes are on Wednesday. That's when we see a winter storm moving into the area, especially mid to late morning. Impact to travel likely, potentially power as well. We'll show you who sees snow and who sees more of an icy mix. That's coming up in less than 5 minutes.
As egg prices continue to climb sky high, Trump administration officials say they have a new plan to combat bird flu. For a long time, the U.S. has dealt with avian flu by eradicating sick birds. Officials say the new plan involves medication that would avoid killing the chickens. Strategy comes as the virus has been reported spreading to other types of animals. Officials say their plan should be ready by next week. Hundreds of people across the country protected against Elon Musk and the newly established Department of Government Efficiency, with demonstrators gathering over the weekend in cities like Boston, New York, and Palo Alto, California, to voice their concerns. Some question the authority the Trump administration has given to Musk in a newly created department.
They're not just looking for efficiency, they're looking to destroy. And I think if this was happening to a private company, or if this was happening to other people's property, there would be outrage.
And in response to that rally in Boston, the Massachusetts Republican Party issued a statement. It says Democrats have little to cheer about from the Biden administration and no failures to acknowledge with the current one.
A shipment of heavy bombs from the United States arrived in Israel after the Trump administration lifted a hold on deliveries. It rolled back a Biden-era policy meant to exert leverage on Israel during its war in Gaza. Biden restricted the delivery of the 2,000-pound bombs out of concern that they could be used in densely populated areas of Gaza.
18 people are dead, dozens are injured after a stampede at a train station in India. Police in India's capital of New Delhi say the overcrowding continued just after that stampede yesterday. Passengers could be seen pushing into a train and hanging from railings as that train left the station, all while security worked to manage the congestion. The stampede happened as passengers were waiting to board trains to travel to a religious festival.
New allegations have come out about inappropriate behavior from longtime Ravens kicker Justin Tucker. 7 more massage therapists have come forward with claims of sexual experiences with the NFL player. That brings the total to 16 therapists who have spoken out about Tucker's behavior, dating all the way back to 2012. Tucker has denied these accusations.
67th Daytona 500 ran in Florida after it was delayed by several hours because of rain. The iconic NASCAR race, the Super Bowl for them, had to endure these storms for 4 hours. Once the clouds cleared, though, it was back on the track, and driver William Byron drove off with the victory yesterday. Went from 9th place right up to 1st on a final lap crash that wiped out several contenders. President Donald Trump also made an appearance there. The presidential motorcade led the drivers on 2 laps to start the race.
All right, let's get back over to meteorologist Chris Michaels, because I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about this next storm system.
Yeah, Wednesday is going to be the day to really keep an eye on as this winter storm moves into North Carolina. The general trend is most of our snow being near and to the north of I-40 and more of an icy mix south of that. Of course, the location, the strength of this area of low pressure, that's going to determine exactly the numbers that you see, and our first call numbers should come out around midday, early afternoon. That'll give you still about 48 hours notice. But here's the trend. If you're in Durham or Warrenton or Roxborough, you mostly see snow, maybe a little bit of sleet. But if you're from Raleigh to Wilson to Smithfield southward, you'll see kind of this mixed bag of precipitation with more freezing rain south and more of a sleet snow mix again farther to the north. If your plans are to head maybe more toward the coast, then they just see a chilly rain out toward Wilmington and Southport. Here's the general time frame, and it's mostly after about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning that we see this precipitation developing. Again, the bulk of accumulation, perhaps a few inches, would be well north of I-40. Then in terms of ice, it's potentially significant as you go from Wake County southward. The main impact, regardless of numbers, is going to be to travel, especially from midday Wednesday through at least Thursday. And if we wind up getting a quarter of an inch of ice or more, power outages would be a possibility. And right now I'm looking at about Johnston, Wayne County southward for that. So keep up to date on the forecast as we go through the next few days. Cold and dry today, but windy at the airport, about a 15-mile-per-hour sustained wind. So that 39 wind chill more than likely in the upper 20s, lower 30s, and that's where it's going to stay throughout the next few hours. Hour by hour, taking the dog for a walk, it's probably going to be a pretty quick one this morning. Midday temperatures in the low 40s with highs this afternoon in the upper 40s. And then first thing tomorrow morning, temperatures 25 to 29. Not a big deal because we'll be dry by then, but with temperatures like that Wednesday, anything that falls will stick. So again, keep up to date on the forecast. I just posted a Q&A to WRAL.com. We'll have updates throughout the day on the WRAL News app. Today and tomorrow, kind of the proverbial calm before the storm. Wednesday's the main day to watch for. Still some leftover impacts Thursday, even though the precipitation moves out. And regardless, going to be very cold as we head toward the end of the week. 18 the low by Friday morning.
Ooh. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, exactly. Round and round we go. More winter weather. A night of All-Stars. Last night, we'll show you Steph Curry's reaction to earning the All-Star Game MVP award for the second time.
And a recall alert why you should throw out these made good granola bars if you have them in your pantry. Welcome back on your Monday morning as we take a live look over Franklinton. Clear and chilly out there this morning. We are watching for that snow potential on Wednesday. Meteorologist Chris Michaels will have that full forecast coming up for us at 5 o'clock.
Steph Curry raised the trophy high up after winning the NBA All-Star Game in San Francisco. Shaquille O'Neal drafted Curry and beat out Charles Barkley's global stars in last night's game. The mini tournament tested a little bit of a different format for the NBA All-Stars this year. First team to 40 points wins. Curry was the MVP on his home floor at Chase Center, where he and his Golden State Warriors play.
Another big weekend for movie awards with ceremonies held on both sides of the Atlantic. David Daniel brings us up to speed in today's Hollywood Minute.
There is one sin which I have come to fear above all others. Certainty. If there was only certainty and no doubt, there would be no mystery.
Conclave won Best Film honors at the BAFTA Awards, often a precursor to the Oscars. The Vatican thriller received 4 awards from the British Academy, as did The Brutalist, including Best Actor for Adrian Brody and Best Director for Brady Corbet.
Your parents are gonna kill you.
I love my husband.
You do not know this guy.
We are consenting adults.
If you think this is gonna be allowed, you're dead wrong.
Do not touch me.
A Nora star, Mikey Madison, beat out Demi Moore of The Substance for Best Actress at BAFTA, and the Writers Guild of America honored the film as well, giving Sean Baker its Original Screenplay Award. The WGA's Adapted Screenplay Trophy went to Ramel Ross for Nickel Boys. Both films are nominated in the same screenplay categories at the Academy Awards, which take place March 2nd. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Nearly 2.5 million cases of Made Good brand granola bars are being recalled. The company voluntarily recalled the products due to possible metal contamination. The company says the metal could be from a small, flat brush bristle used in the manufacturing process. Made Good says it will refund any products on the recall list.
Pope Francis' condition is stable while he gets treatment for bronchitis. The Pope has been recovering at a hospital in Rome. The Vatican says the Pope is pulling back from some of his duties, including leading certain prayers. This bout with bronchitis is the latest in a string of ailments, raising concerns about the 88-year-old's health.
Bachelorette star Katie Thurston says she is ready to fight after receiving a breast cancer diagnosis. The 34-year-old announced her diagnosis on social media over the weekend. She says she was diagnosed with cancer 2 weeks prior. She says she has experienced a range of emotions. She was a contestant on season 25 of The Bachelor and the star of The Bachelorette's 17th season. We are wishing her all the best.
Flooding in Kentucky. We have new video of the search and rescue efforts happening there as officials say the death toll is likely to rise.
And the winter storm heading our way is already impacting flights at RDU. As you take a live look there, we'll tell you how many delays and cancellations there are right now.
And 50 years of laughs, highlights from the SNL anniversary special, including moments from some of your favorite comedians.